Welcome. My name is Stephanie Ellis, and I'm a psychologist and a concerned parent. This is part of my series aimed to get the word out to schools and parents about the need to start high school at 8:30 a.m. or later. In this video, I'll be talking to you about the research around starting school later, juvenile delinquency, and problem behavior. Let's start with this. How does sleep impact behavior? This gets a little technical, so hang in there with me. What we consider to be problematic behavior is really a cluster of things. It's inattentiveness. It's emotional reactivity rather than rational responding. It's impulsivity. It's decision-making problems. It's the inability to inhibit behavior that doesn't fit the circumstances that you're in, right? And all of those functions are controlled by a part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. And that's true for everybody. And it's also true for everybody that when you're sleep deprived, the prefrontal cortex is not working at 100%. Now, why is this extra important for teens? Well, their prefrontal cortex is not finished being developed. It's the last part of the human brain to fully develop and isn't really fully complete until around 25-ish. So while teens are developing this part of their brain, if during that time they are chronically sleep deprived, it doesn't just impact the behavior that they're having today in school, it's going to determine their ability to behave well long into adulthood. And here's one more kind of disturbing thing. What we consider to sort of be an epidemic of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder might in fact be, at least in part, chronic sleep deprivation. Okay, so what happens when we start school later and teens are getting enough sleep? Well, they're better in the classroom, okay? So when they get enough sleep, we see improved classroom behavior, we see reduced classroom conflict, we see better emotion regulation. That's not just in the classroom, that's also at home. We see decreases in disciplinary action at schools, for example, fewer suspensions. And if you do not believe that this stuff needs work, ask the teachers that you know. These kinds of things don't just impact school. This is problem behavior outside the classroom too. When teens are getting enough sleep, what we see is improved self-control all around. Food choices, driving, friends, prioritizing homework, all the things that we want for them, right? Better decision-making under stress, including stress like peer pressure. We see less risk-taking behavior when teens are getting enough sleep. A couple of really specific ones that are important is we see less risky driving behavior and we see less risky sexual behavior. That's well documented in the literature. And so is reduced substance use. So when teens are getting enough sleep, we're seeing less use of alcohol, drugs, nicotine, caffeine, all this stuff, right? And if that were not enough, we also see less physical aggression against their peers and decreases in juvenile delinquency. So we see less fighting, we see fewer students carrying weapons, we see less property crime, we even see less violent crime. And here's something that's really important. About 60% of juvenile delinquency occurs on school days, most often between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Why? They've been at school since 7, they've gotten out at 2, there's no supervision. And they're exhausted. Their prefrontal cortexes are not helping them to inhibit their behavior. So let's start school later. Let's help teens stay out of trouble. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please share this information with your district administrators, share it with your teachers, share it with your staff, share it with your students, right? And share it with other parents. We all want kids and teens to stay out of trouble, and there's something really important we could do to help. This is it. Thanks.